The next match is absolutely ready, and this is not one you want to miss, Rissa.
Oh my goodness. So moving forward here, as we see on the screen, we get to see Starburst versus YOM Fries. Dura, do you know anything about this team, YOM Fries?
Well, I do. I did catch a match that they played yesterday, and these are pretty familiar players, if I would say so myself. There's April, who's a Splash player, Bandit, E-Leader, and kind of a Charger player, you know. There's Kiwi, not the Bamboo Kiwi, to my knowledge. But there's also Caden, who plays Splattershot, who is the player I'm most familiar with. But I do know that April is a player that has been on the rise recently. I don't know if you've heard about them, Marissa, but I definitely have.
Yeah, I've heard of April. She is a really, really strong player. Like you said, plays Splash. And actually, I do believe this is the Bamboo Kiwi, but in this game, like if you weren't here at the beginning of this stream, Dur and I were talking about how different players are from Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3. And this is one of those players, Bamboo, of course, Kiwi, of course, known for playing Bamboo in Splatoon 2, but not playing it from what I've seen in Splatoon 3. So we'll get to see a little bit of that in that weapon switch up. And on the other side, we get to see a familiar team, Starburst, one of the best teams in the West, coming out for this tournament. And of course, their classic roster here, Bagel, Ice, Bran, and Biscuit.
I'm sure you mean Zesty Zebra, Marissa.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Well, jokes aside, that is Biscuit. I just love Battlefy names. Like, it's so funny. I'm pretty sure mine was not Dura at all as well. Anyways, this first map, Hagglefish Market, Tower Control. We all know this map. I mean, you just got to control that top right side when you push. But one of these teams is running the E-Leader. The other is running a very interesting column that we like to call the double-double. Rissa, can you tell us why it's a double-double?
The double-double on order here. The double machine, double splash coming out from the side of Starburst. You know, classic meta comp that we're getting to see from them. And trades actually happening on both sides here. On the side of Starburst, their last member is up and just pushing the tower, was just like, you know what, everyone's on the other side of the map. I'm just going to keep pushing the tower here. Might as well get it to the first checkpoint and get these points down. So Starburst able to initially get the lead here, but if you look at mid, it is completely controlled by YOM Fries right now. And with this double crabs coming out, creating even more space for them, they are the team now getting to the first checkpoint.
Yeah, April here with the crab tank on tower, a very staple play. Unfortunately for them, Biscuit is able to get the trade, actually get a second pick before getting traded out by Caden here. And that seems like a successful defense for Starburst as Bagel pops their own crab tank on tower, moving on to this top right area. Be careful, Bagel, do not get headshot by that E-Leader. Dropping out of the tower and then instantly painting for another crab tank. This is a 4v3 scenario. They just got to the first checkpoint. This is looking good for them, Lisa.
Yeah, looking really good for Starburst. I love this. I love the communication from Bagel and Ice. Ice unfortunately taking a swim there. You could see they were juggling their crabs to get through that first checkpoint, but that crab from Ice getting thrown into the water there, and this is looking really chaotic in mid as YOM Fries able to push into mid instantly and take mid control. But Starburst is right here with Biscuit and Bran just leading the charge here, able to create so much space.
Yeah, Bran there holding mid by himself in a 3v1 scenario, getting 2 picks. Only the last one up flanked him and got the pick, but it enabled, or it allowed his team to actually get back into mid so fast and start this push that we saw with Biscuit getting 2 starting picks with it. And look at this, the tower has been pushed to 30. They've pushed past the second checkpoint, only 1 to go. And we don't often see many KOs in this map, but Rissa, it seems like we will. Only Caden left alive here. They need to get the tower if they want to KO this. It's not necessary at all to get the trade. Biscuit goes on the tower. They get the third checkpoint. 6 ticks left on the scoreboard. And that is the end of that push. But that is a game-winning push if I've ever seen one.
Especially like you said, Dura, on this map, you know, you don't necessarily see KOs on this map and mode really that much because it is pretty difficult to get out of your spawn and you know, control that area really fast. So lot of points able to be taken down for Starburst, and now with YOM Fries trying to do everything they can to get into mid here. April, really nice usage of that crab to create space, and then takes down one member of Starburst, and Kiwi there following up, getting another member. This could potentially be exactly what YOM Fries needed. They are at that first checkpoint, getting the points down with April and Bandit there, getting that tower safely through the first checkpoint.
April there popping the crab tank on the right side. The E-leader player on their team also bought the wave breaker. Not sure where. I did see it was ready, but ran here. Looking to stop this tower by himself. Not gonna work there for you, buddy. April here riding the tower once again, trying to dodge and weave the shots from this flash player on the top right, coming out from Starburst side of the map, popping that crab tank. April realizes along with their teammates, okay, that's the end of that push for now, so I'll just back up, farm my special, pop this crab tank. Kaden pops the Trizuka, gets a couple of picks, or just one pick, and again, another successful defense coming out from Starburst, and with that Booyah coming into mid, and with Biscuit pushing far into the enemy side of the map here in mid. This just looks like very, very strong control for Starburst. There's only 20 seconds left, Rissa.
Yeah, Starburst has the mid control that they need, and they also had their 2 crabs at the ready. I love that Starburst is just consistently making sure they have crabs ready, left and right. They are just continuing that. And using both of their crabs now to make sure they hold mid, play defense, and not let YOM Fries approach mid at all. Booyah Bomb coming out from Biscuit just to solidify that a little bit more. And Starburst taking this first game, and that was, I mean, amazing game-winning push there all the way to 6, but we absolutely saw some signs of life from YOM Fries. They had a lot of what they needed to be able to potentially get a bigger push in, but Starburst just had that defense for this game 1.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, Rissa, but I do believe that Starburst is the best Western team. You definitely haven't heard that before, though. Like, no definitely way. Not.
Like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. It shows, and I'm gonna make a prediction right now. Starburst will take this tournament home.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Big claims.
You're crazy for that.
Am I? I don't think so.
No, that is absolutely a valid claim. Starburst, of course, one of the best teams right now in Splatoon 3. And it really shows they have so much synergy. They play together so well. They know each other so well, and they know exactly what they need to do. And we saw a lot of that in that first game. And we are actually going to be headed straight into Game 2. Remember, these are still sets that are best of 3. So if Starburst wins this, they will be moving on through the winner side of the bracket. And if YOM Fries is able to take this game, we will be going to a Game 3.
Well, here we go. Game 2, Rainmaker in Sturgeon Shipyard. It seems like YOM Fries will get this pop, but it seemed like Starburst was not really playing for the pop at all. Instead, they played for that pick on the left side. That is 2 picks now. They go running onto or into the Rainmaker in order to cancel out that crab tank, and it seems they will opt for this right side checkpoint. They do realize that they can do that because most of the YOM Fries players are coming from spawn. Biscuit does get caught out there, and it seems like that might be the end of this push for now, at least in this map. April here climbing the snipe, and yeah, they gotta get into mid with a couple of these specials, but no, they let Ice pick up the Rainmaker, and that's a push to 21, Rissa. That again is a game-winning push in the first minute.
That was so sneaky of Ice. I didn't even realize that he was, that far into the other side of the map and able to grab that Rainmaker, get it all the way to 21. This is one of those maps, too, where it can be pretty difficult to push the Rainmaker decently far. So getting, within the first minute, getting it all the way down to 21. What a great score for Starburst here, leading the charge. Starburst now still... is actually having 2 members down and having to regroup in their spawn. They know that they have to set up for defense, and having actually 3 splashes this time instead of 2 for this map and mode, they are going to be having so many crabs here for their defense.
Yeah, I think these defenses will be pretty easy. Ice there getting the trade onto the Rainmaker. Now it's only April left alive on the side of YOM Fries. Maybe Caden will be jumping in. At least Kiwi is, as we can see now, but Starburst is trying to creep into mid right now. Biscuit poking at this left side, sandwiching April, and maybe getting the avenge kill there. It is Caden here fighting the machine in mid. Not the wisest choice, but it seems like it has kind of worked out for him. He just kind of poked at the machine and then came back, and now Big just stalling. Like, they're in a position to stall. We're not even halfway through the time in this game. All of a sudden, they're in a position to stall the Rainmaker on this little pit area. That's ridiculous.
Especially if they just stall it in that little pit area on the side. That makes it a little bit awkward when it comes to YOM Fries for grabbing the Rainmaker, because they have to get out of mid to be able to grab that Rainmaker down in that bottom section of the map. So it's in a little bit of an awkward spot. Looks like they were able to at least pop it, so that way the Rainmaker can now reset, get back into mid, and get in a position for YOM Fries to try and pop that Rainmaker and get a push going. YOM Fries gonna grab the Rainmaker, and April there using that really good crab to create space on this spinner snipe area. But a lot of trades happening back and forth here, and Starburst able to put a stop to that push that YOM Fries tried to get out.
Yeah, April kind of picking a fight with Brand, but then really realizing this is not a fight I can take right now. Backs out and then goes back in, gets the pick this time. And in a 4v2 scenario, YOM Fries should really start looking into getting a push going, especially with April positioning herself on this top right area with this grab tank. They don't get the pedestal though, the checkpoint, and Starburst just wipes out the enemy team. There's a minute and 20 seconds left to this up. This is a very hard game to win if you're YOM Fries here. What is the win condition?
Win condition is definitely, I feel like YOM Fries is going to need to get at least maybe 2 picks to get a push going, but also the other thing is they got to make sure that they have specials and map control ready, because it seems like, we've seen Bran and Biscuit do it constantly. If they are in mid, they can literally hold mid by themselves. So getting the picks is going to be really crucial for YOM Fries to be able to get a push going. It looks like they actually are able to get 2 members down on the side of Starburst, but once again, like I mentioned, if Bran or Biscuit are there, they can hold spaces by themselves, and that's exactly what Bran did there on that left side of the map, was able to hold that all by himself, wait for Biscuit to come up, and completely shut down that push from YOM Fries.
Yeah, Bran there making a very, very good play along with Biscuit. Bagel here, again, in a position to stall with only 20 seconds left on the timer. Just standing on that spinner and now going back into this pit, just spamming shots on this top area that the enemy will surely try to come in from. Getting a pick even and just spamming this crab tank, maybe even getting a pick onto it. Maybe. Well, doesn't matter because the game is over. That is such a dominating performance coming out from Starburst.
Starburst just able to consistently show the synergy that they have with each other, able to have, just have one member hold an area like that is insane, and it really shows the caliber of this team and the players. YOM Fries, once again, definitely had signs of life there, and if they were able to get the right openings, they could have absolutely gotten more points on the board, but YOM Fries is still going to be going down to the loser side of the bracket, so they are still in the tournament. Starburst, of course, moving on through the winner's side of the bracket here and moving forward.
Before we send you over to the analyst desk for Gem to talk to you about this very, very fast set, I do want to highlight something that has happened in this bracket. Chewits Mafia beat the first seeded team finally. A team composed of 4 top Japanese players. So definitely be on the lookout for Chewits Mafia in the future of this tournament. I just want to plant that seed. We'll definitely be coming back to that. So with that, go on, Jem. What do you have to tell us about this?
That is really huge news, first of all, that Chewits Mafia has beaten finally, because first of all, that throws off the seeding entirely. Now you've got this absolute killer down there on the loser's side. What in the world happens next now that that team is set loose in losers? That could light a fire under them, that could, push them all the way up through into grands. Or it could be that the West is starting to catch up a little bit with Japan. That is one of the storylines that we're looking for, and that's something that we're especially interested in seeing from Starburst. Starburst are the best team in North America. I don't think anyone's going to dispute that in good faith. But they have never actually gotten a big major win over a steady Japanese team for a tournament. They've been able to beat a bunch of teams that are at top level. They've always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. Third place, fifth place at these big Japanese events. And so this is a chance where they really could make, a run at one of those teams. And looking at the form that they're in here is something that I think, is really interesting for us to watch for the storylines of the tournament. So something I want to highlight about Starburst is the pace of play. Starburst never feel like they are at a numbers disadvantage, even when they are, because they are so fast at getting jumps in to players who are out there on the map. They have some of the most aggressive kind of like super jump positions that they're able to get for themselves, and they're always able to get themselves back into play right when they are needed and keep the push going and keep the pressure on. So we actually get a fairly strong opening from YOM Fries here. They just trade back and forth. The push to 70 is nothing, really. Really doesn't matter very much at all. And they are able to set up YOM Fries to get a push all the way over. But they just get stopped short of lead right here because Starburst just make perfect use of their resources and put pressure on right at the exact moment that they need to. They wait until exactly the moment where they are needed, and then they instantly swarm it and they take it out. And from here, Starburst are able to put up a pretty impressive push. I just want to point out that, Ice is a backliner. Ice is traditionally like a charger player, played a lot of C-Jet. But on this splash, Ice has just been absolutely popping off. Well, okay, let's just rewind that one for a second, because Crabfall in Water is funny. Okay, we've seen that one more time. But moving on to the actually impressive part of this, look at Ice just absolutely holding it down in the enemy base. Ice is going in at exactly the right times, getting up onto here with the crab, and that'll hold everybody else back. And then after the crab is done, they're perfectly happy to just dive in there and be a frontliner and take up all of this space. And creating this space is making it so easy for the team to push forward. So really impressive play. Again, Ice is the backliner on this team, but they're absolutely holding his own with Bran and Biscuit and Bagel. One thing I want to highlight here also is that this team that they're playing are no slouches. Look at how beautiful this fight is that April is able to set up. They win the fight cleanly with Bagel, and then they're able to draw aggro, but they are already backing up, and Kiwi is already on top of it. That's such great team synergy. That's communication. That's coordination right there. These are top players that Starburst is doing this to. But Starburst is just really, really, really good at the video game. And when it comes down to about this point, Starburst, they're coming back on defense. They've been down. Doesn't matter. They have the resources exactly when they need them, and as soon as they know they have them, they're getting used, and the push just gets stopped before it can get to the second checkpoint. So really, really strong play there on Hagglefish, and all it takes is a Booyah Bomb to be able to end the game after all of that is said and done. Sturgeon Rainmaker is next, and I really want to highlight Starburst's opening play here. They don't go straight for the pop, they go for specials. This is often a really powerful play, because if you want to go for pop, if you want to go for the early push, what you're hoping for is that you can get something done in those 5 seconds before there are crab tanks on you. And they did not get something done before there were 2 crab tanks on top of them. So now Starburst is the one that has the lead, and I want to see more teams trying that kind of opening, because I think it's really particularly powerful, especially on a comp like Double Splash, where you don't actually have the bombs to necessarily be able to contest the Rainmaker. Now, here is a really crucial moment. This really sets the tone for the entire match, and this is something that happens, you know, even at top level. It looks to YOM Fries like they've got everything covered here. It looks like they've got all their angles watched and that they're going to be starting to push back into mid. They can let it reset. Oh, there's Ice. And Ice takes that quick shortcut, is able to get to 21. The game is pretty much already over. That's not to say that YOM Fries can't get back from this, but the way that Starburst play it stalls the match out so well. At this point, they are already, you know, at the upper hand. This is the winning endgame, if you want to use the chess terminology. They just have to waste time. And with their pace of play, with their ability to get back on defense, this is a really monumental task for YOM Fries to be able to overcome this deficit. Here, notice how April is still in here trying to paint. This is, you know, a one-down situation. YOM Fries is considering jumping people in, but they immediately see that April is in danger and end up jumping those people into someone else. I have to wonder if Starburst might have gotten people in faster than that. Because look, the team hasn't had time to set up on the front lines yet, and Starburst is able to gain mid, even though April was already there. I wonder if that is maybe a slightly missed opportunity to get forward just a little bit faster. But now Starburst has dropped it in the pit here. And they continue to do this for the rest of the match. It's very similar to what we saw on Flounder Rainmaker earlier, where the Rainmaker was stalled down in that street area, in that car park area, and because of that, it was much more difficult for the enemy to retrieve and much more difficult for them to get it into mid. And with Starburst playing faster and getting defenders in their way faster, that gives them more opportunities to get a stop. So even if, you know, April and Kiwi are able to pop off on some excellent play together, they're still just going to need too many tries to be able to get the Rainmaker in there. And I think that there's also a little bit of hesitation going on. Notice here, the Rainmaker is available right now. They get a number of picks. That's basically a 3 down. Look at how long it takes. It was at 47 that the pick went down. And it is only at 41 that they end up picking up the Rainmaker, even though they've been standing on it. Again, pace of play. I feel like that's too slow. And I feel like that sort of pace is going to have to get picked up if anybody today is going to be able to hold a candle to Starburst.